Unit 7, Part 6 notes, I can determine the number of solutions to a quadratic equation using the discriminant. So if you did the exploration beforehand, you had a very good refresher about the two solutions, one solution, no solution, and you learned what the discriminant was. So just a refresher there. The discriminant is the piece underneath the square root. So this b squared minus 4ac. So just this part in red. It does not include the square root, but it's just that piece right there underneath the square root. So that part of the quadratic equation can let us know how many solutions a quadratic equation will have. So in the exploration, you found that the value of the discriminant, if it was greater than 0, so if b squared minus 4ac was a positive value, there were two solutions, it crosses the graph 2 times, or that x-axis 2 times. If there was one solution, so it equaled 0, there was that one solution, and then that means it just crossed that x-axis 1 time. If that b squared minus 4ac was less than 0 or a negative value, then there was no solution. So the reason for that no solution is because this b squared minus 4ac is being square rooted. So that value is, you're taking the square root of that value. And if we try to take the square root of a negative number, so if we go square root of -6, we get that undefined value. So that's the reason why if that discriminant value is negative, we get that undefined no solution value because it's underneath that radical. So that's the reason why we were getting those undefined values in that previous lesson. So using this, we are going to determine the number of solutions to a quadratic equation. So again, we do still need that quadratic equation in standard form set equal to 0, because we do still need to identify our a, which in this equation is 1, our b, which is 4, and our c, which is 3. And then using that discriminant, that b squared, so b squared minus 4ac, we're going to replace b with 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 3. So you can do the math in your head, you can use your calculator. I'm going to show you both depending on which one you want to do. We're going to start with evaluating the exponent. So 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 1 is 4, times 3 is 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. It is a positive discriminant, which means this quadratic equation will have 2 solutions. And that's all you need to identify. All right, so for our next equation, it's in standard form, it's set equal to 0. We can identify our a, which is 2, our b, which is -5, and our c, which is 6. Plug those values into our discriminant, that b squared minus 4ac. So b is -5 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 6. So then if you would like to use your calculator, you're more than welcome to. So we would just type that into our calculator. -5 squared minus 4 times 2 times 6. And we get -23. So our discriminant is -23, which makes it a negative value. And when that happens, we have no solutions. All right, last one. We have -x squared plus 2x equals 1. We need to first set this equation equal to 0 by subtracting 1 on both sides. 1 take away 1 is 0. And then we have -x squared or -1x squared plus 2x minus 1. So then our a value would be -1, our b value would be 2, and our c value would also be -1. And then we can plug that in to our discriminant formula, b squared minus 4ac. b is 2, so 2 squared minus 4 times 1, which is -1, times c, which is -1. And then, if you'd like, we can use our calculator. So we have 2, change both of these parentheses to -1, and we can see that our value is equal to 0. So when it's equal to 0, that means there is one solution. Now the reason for that is if we think about our quadratic equation, if this square root piece is equal to 0, that means we're adding and subtracting 0 to that b value. If we add 0 or subtract 0 from a number, that number stays the same, which is why we're not adding or subtracting something different. That would give us two different values. We're adding and subtracting 0, which gives us that same value. So that's why there's only one solution when our discriminant is 0. So using the discriminant just kind of helps us better understand that quadratic equation and understand what can give us different solutions for our quadratic equation. For your practice for this lesson, there is an online practice on Schoology, so you can see your assignment in Schoology. It will have that online practice that you'll upload a screenshot to. And then when you're done with that, all you'll have left is your quiz for this week. If you have any questions, please reach out.